Good morning, and this is Education Without Borders. In this episode, we want to ask a question. What drives you? Is it the grades or is it the passion? And this question is to students, especially those students who are at a level where they're entering college and they need to choose their career path. So the question is, what drives your choice? Is it the grades or is it the passion? In other words, which comes first? Do you have a passion first, and that is what actually makes you work so hard so that you gain the grades that are able to lead you to the career that you are passionate about? Or do you just work blindly, get the grades, and then start scratching your head, wondering which is the best career? It's very important for somebody to make this distinction at a very early age. And when I talk about the early age, I want to make reference to the competency-based education, CBE, which is a curriculum that is referred to as CBC also, the competency-based curriculum, and it represents a shift from the traditional 844 system in Kenya to a more flexible, skills-oriented. And the structure of competency-based education is 2-6-3-3-3. That's the structure, as opposed to a traditional structure, which we know as 8-4-4. So the 2-6-3-3-3 competency-based education is a structure that focuses on practical skills, core competencies, and talent nurturing over the rote learning as we know it. It consists of 2 years of pre-primary, 6 years of primary, 3 years of junior secondary, 3 years of senior secondary, and 3 years of tertiary education. Let's see what are the key stages of the CBE structure. We have talked about the 2 pre-primary years. They are also referred to as PP1 and PP2. Then the kids move to the primary, that is 6 years, which are referred to as grades 1 to 6. After grade 6, the students then go to junior school, which is now grade 7, 8, and 9. That is the 3 years. After those 3 years, then the pupil graduates to the senior school. That is 3 years, that is grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12. Now, when the student graduates from junior to senior school, they start now going into the different pathways. And we shall look at those. And those are very important because the students who are in the grades 10, 11, and 12 have started preparing themselves for tertiary education. And that tertiary education is specified under this structure as having a minimum of 3 years. Note, we talk about minimum of 3 years. Currently, in tertiary education, under the 844, that was a minimum of 4 years. And we talk about minimum, there are certain programs which offer more than 4 years. For example, in engineering, they are 5 years, offered as 5 years. Medicine, they offer 6 years. Architecture offers 7 years. So what this means then is that as we transition from 844 curriculum or structure to 2-6-3-3-3, it means there are very major preparations which are required. Let's see an overview of the CBE or CBC pathway into Kenya Senior School. As I have said earlier, senior school targets learners aged between 15 and 17 years. This is the specialization phase where students transition from the broad foundational learning to a focused pathway aligned with their interests, aptitudes, talents, personality traits, and career aspirations. This stage, that is for learners aged between 15 and 17, prepares them for university, technical and vocational education and training. That is what is called TVET. That is Technical Vocational Education and Training, TVET. Or it also prepares them into direct entry into the workforce. Kenya Senior School is the hallmark of the introduction of the three main pathways, and each of these three main pathways is divided into tracks. The pathways are chosen at the start of grade 10, and they are based on 1. Performance in the Kenya Junior Secondary Education Assessment, KJSEA, which is formerly KPSEA. It's also assessed with number 2, continuous assessment from junior school. So when pupils are in junior school, remember, there are continuous assessments which will be used then to assess the pathways which the student can choose. The learner's interests also and their abilities can be guided by career counseling. So parents who have students in their senior school or even junior school, introduce them and connect them to career counselors. And schools often offer these career counselors. This is also the pathway and track also depends on the school capacity and the school's infrastructure. So as you take your pupil to school, look at the capacity and infrastructure, because then it will influence the kind of track that the pupil will be guided into. The school, I've talked about the school infrastructure. How are the schools categorized? The schools are categorized by the pathways that the school offers. There is a pathway called the triple pathway schools. These offer all the three pathways. For example, national schools, we know the national schools like Alliance High School, Starehe Boys Center, Kenya High School, they offer triple pathway. They are triple pathway schools. There are also double pathway schools. These offer 2 pathways. There are also single pathway schools which specialize in 1. So as a parent, as you take your child to the senior school, find out what is the school's categorization so that your child is able to be properly aligned. The placement of your pupil is managed via the Ministry of Education's online platform. For example, you may have the education selection.education.go.ke. This is where students select pathways. They also select subject combinations. They as well select the schools. As of 2026, the first CBC cohort transitioned into senior school, and there are ongoing adjustments for equity and resource allocations. Remember, this cohort of 2026, the first cohort of CBC, that is in grade 10. In 2027, they will be in grade 11. In 2028, they will be in grade 12. And they will be ready now to transition to either universities, to TVET, or even to enter into job market. Then we are talking about 2029. Let us look at How are universities preparing themselves to receive the first cohort of CBET in 2029? Thank you for watching. This is Education Without Borders. Let us see how universities are preparing themselves.